Very good evening to one and all. Good evening, children. Welcome to the e-learning classes. Today we are going to discuss, children, 10th class social studies. 10th class social studies, 20th chapter, social movements. In our previous class already, children, I had taken two parts. Now today is a part 3. We discuss about the various movements, children, social movements, children, in USA, USSR, followed by the other environmental movements also. Today also we are going to discuss about one of the environmental movement. So environmental movement in our India. Environmental movement, children, in our India in the year 1970, it was started in our country. 1970, it was started in our country. So the first movement, children, it was Chipko movement. Chipko movement was a movement of Uttarakhand. It was a movement of Uttarakhand. So this movement, children, was started by one of the environmentalists by the name Sundarlal Bahuguna. One of the environmentalists by the name Sundarlal Bahuguna. What was this movement, children? In 1970, in Uttarakhand, children, this was a movement. It was in Uttarakhand. So, in 1970 in Uttarakhand, people, those who were living in hilly area, especially in the forest area, the people, they were suffering a lot, children, because of the industry and the other various projects, children, started deforestation in the forest area. Forest is the home of tribals. From the forest, the people, they get, children, food, fodder. Not only the food and fodder, children, it provides soil and the water conservation also. So the people of the forest areas, nearby village areas, they felt that if continuous deforestation goes on like this, in future they may get some problems related to that. So they started the movement called as Chipko movement. What is Chipko movement? In this Chipko movement, hugging the trees. The people, villagers, they hug the trees to stop them to cut for the industrial purposes. So especially the women, they took part, children, in this Chipko movement, and later this movement was a very popular one. This was the first movement, Chipko movement, to save the environment. Okay. The next movement, children, was Narmada Bachao Andolan, NBA. This was a movement that was started by Baba Mahalia and Medha Patkar, the very strong leaders of this movement, of the Narmada Bachao Andolan. What is this Narmada Bachao Andolan? Okay, children. So, this was the Andolan that was started against the construction of a multi-purpose dam, multi-purpose project. A very big dam that is supposed to generate electricity, supposed to control the floods, reserve the water. Not only that one, for what he called employment generation by forestry, by fisheries, etc. So it was a very big project, children, that was constructed, planned to construct over the river Narmada, and the name of the dam is Sardar Sarovar project. Okay, so we are having, children, other, I think you know that the names of the other multi-purpose project like Bhakra Nangal project, Nagarjuna Sagar project, like that. So this, the same one, the government thought to construct a multi-purpose project on the river Narmada by the name Sardar Sarovar project. But to construct this project, dam, it requires some thousands of acres of land. That means displacement of thousands of villages, deforestation, etc. It needs for the construction. So what happened, children? As the order was passed for this, people, they were awestruck. They were awestruck that this is a very big dam it is going to construct for the purpose of electricity, and huge amount of water they could store, and again they are not going to get the face the problem of electricity, they are not going to get the face the problem of water scarcity. But people, they didn't know that to construct this project they had to leave their villages. They were removed from their villages because on the way of this dam many villages were their children, so all the villages were removed. So the people from the forest area, like tribal peoples, villages peoples, everyone were displaced, children, because of this construction of this projects. Thousands of trees, animals, acres of fertile fields, and people who had been displaced to build these dams, later everyone were ignored. Then people later they felt that okay, this is a government project for better purpose only, so at least government should compensate. Means instead of taking this land, when the government had taken that land, instead of that the government can pay them amount, or the government can provide them land in some other area where they could do the cultivation, and they could start their new life. Okay, they expected a fair compensation in return of that lands that they submitted for the construction of dam. Okay, and then what happened, children? Very soon people they realized that even after demanding in such a way, government is not paying them any compensation, there is no compensation. Then the people realized it is not also a matter of compensation but also to save the environment. Complete environment, nature is disrupted for the construction of such a big dam. Then people they started they raised the voice against this construction of the dam. So the leader at that time, the Baba Mahalia and Medha Patkar, they came forward and they started the movement called as Narmada Bachao Andolan. And what they did, government took some crores of rupees from the World Bank for the construction of this Sardar Sarovar, this Narmada Bachao, this Narmada Dam, Sardar Sarovar project. So people now, under the leadership of these two, they started protests, rallies, hunger strike. Even they had taken this protest at the international level also. By this, whatever the World Bank, they announced that they are going to give the money to for the construction of this dam. They took it back. That now in this disputes, they are not going to give the what you call it, the money. So the construction of the dam was stopped. But unfortunately, later the dam was constructed, children. Dam was constructed, but with this what happened, with this environment movements, people they came to know about the importance of environment. People they came to know about that all the projects of the government are not good compared for the related to the environment. So they came to know that they had to raise a voice if anything happened against the environmental disturbance. So this is, children, the what we can say as the environment movements. I hope it is clear. Environmental movements. Okay. Now, the next topic after the environmental movement, we are having, children, women's movement. Okay. We are having the movement of women's. So here, the movement of women's. So in this movement of women's, children, we are going to learn, children, about the movement of two different areas. The areas, one is from Andhra Pradesh and one is from Manipur. Okay, the movement that was started by the women's only, one from Andhra Pradesh and another from Manipur, children. So let us start the first one. Okay, so the first one, children, is the two different examples of woman movement, woman movement, woman movement. Okay, so the first movement that we are going to learn, children, today, it is about the name. It is in our Telugu only. Adavallu. Eka Maite. Means what happened? A woman, they joined together. Adavallu Ekamaite. Okay. So this is a story, children, achievement of woman who has started the evening schools. Adavallu Ekamaite. This is a movement in Andhra, in one of the village called as Dubaganta village. What was this movement, children? Dubaganta village. There is a story of the women who were the wage earners, who did the hard work and earn money. But all their hard earning money were taken away by their husbands for the sake of rack, alcohol or toddy. So the woman, whatever they earn, children, their husband used to take all those money and they used to have wasted that money for alcohol. We can say arak or the toddy, children. Then what happened? Not only this one, if suppose there were no money available at home, these men, for the sake of alcohol, they used to sell all whatever the materials, the things available at home, maybe in the form of rice, maybe in the form of anything. They used to sell that one and purchase the alcohol and create a nuisance at home by beating the women and the children. Then all these women children they read a story of by the name Sitama. These women, they read a story by the name Sitama. All these women, they were fed up with all those these daily repeated works of their husband. Then they complained to Sarpanch that to ban arak, that means to ban the alcohol in the village. To ban the alcohol. So what happened? The just by demanding to ban the alcohol, it is not easy. So this was not happen. Next day, one cart, bullock cart, full of all arak, alcohol, it arrived in the village. So all these women in hundreds, they went near that cart, they surrounded that cart and demanded that person to throw away, to spoil that arak, and to which they will pay 1 rupee compensation for each spoil. And then even they warn also that cart person that not to bring arak, not to bring that alcohol again to that village. Then next day, what happened? For few days, arak did not arrive, means this alcohol did not come children for any supply. Then one day, one jeep carrying all the loads of alcohol, it came to the village. Once again, these women, they moved towards that moved towards around that jeep, and they warned the owner that they will lodge a complaint with the magistrate. The person, he closed the shop, and then afterwards, what happened children? No one was dead in the village to sell the alcohol. This news spread like a fire in other villages. Many women of other villages, they used to start the same thing children. They started moving in the march, hundreds of thousands of women move in each an area where the alcohol was sold. They captured those shops, destroyed the alcohol, and gave the warnings to the seller not to sell again. Even in one of the district, Nellore, where there was an auction, children, when there was an auction of arak, means alcohol, was conducted by the district collector. These thousands of women, they moved that area, and they force that not to go for any auction. This district collector, he cancelled this auction for 6 times. Later, he completely children, what he called, cancel it, the complete auction for next time. Then what happened children? By this way, the women, they try to stop the sale of alcohol. These women, what happened? The liquor shopkeepers, those who refused to listen the words of this woman, these women, they completed picketed, means forcibly taking the liquor, throwing in the open area, or keep a fire on that one, and giving a warning. And sometimes those who didn't listen, they shaved the moustache and the beard of that seller, made him to sit on the donkey and paraded throughout the village. This much of dare when the women, they showed, then everyone in the different villages of Andhra Pradesh, they forced to sell the arak. And then in the year children, October, that is 1995. 1995, what happened? A law was passed in the state for the total prohibition. A law was passed in the village for the total prohibition of liquor, that there should not be any sale of liquor. Total prohibition was passed. Okay, and then afterwards children, we can say that these were the women, those who did this one, they were not the politicians, they were not the activists. Just these women are the tribal women or the villages, illiterate women of villages, those who were succeeded in stopping the alcohol in the state. An act was passed, but unfortunately, what happened as the time went on, Okay, no one kept a vigila, means no one kept a what do you call, no one concentrate about the sale of liquor, children. Later, and slowly liquor shops were again open, children, in Andhra Pradesh. So this is the story, children, of Andhra Pradesh, of the women movement called as Adavalu Ekamaiti. What happened? If women they joined together, they become one as a unity. They can do anything, children. So this was a successful story, children, of Andhra Pradesh. So this is the first movement, first woman movement in Andhra Pradesh. Now, after this woman movement, we are having this. We are going to discuss about now the second movement, children, and this is a movement that we are going to discuss, children, from northeastern part of our country. Okay, from the northeastern part of our country. What is this movement, children? Okay, so I hope the story is clear to all of you. Now, the next movement, children, it is the woman of Manipur. We are going to discuss, children, now the struggle of Manipur, children. Okay, where is Manipur? Manipur, it is in the northeastern part of India, northeastern state of India, Manipur. So, Manipur, children, here we find that this was a movement of the women against the laws, against the armed forces. They imposed certain laws in Manipur. So, about the Manipur. Manipur composed, as you all know, that it northeast means it is an area of hills and valleys. Manipur is an area of hills and valleys. So, in the valley area, before the independence, princes they used to rule, and the hilly areas, tribal people they used to live. Later, British occupied Manipur and ruled it till independence. After the independence, in the formation of the India, when different states were combined, children, to form an Indian Union, Manipur was handed over to the India. That Manipur is going to join the India. Okay, though princes were not there. So Manipur turned as a part of Indian Union state. But the tribal people of Manipur, the people of Manipur, they didn't accept this one. They said that no, Manipur want to remain as an independent state instead of joining Indian Union, instead of joining this country, India. Okay, then they started the what you call different movements against this union. So what government of India did? Government of India, they sent an army to Manipur to control the situations of Manipur, this riots, violence and everything in Manipur. But when the army was deployed to control the situation, what army did? Army, instead of solving the problem, they increased it. They passed what they described, that Manipur is a very disturbed area, and as soon as the Manipur, they had described that Manipur is a disturbed area, one law was passed. What was that law, children? That law was AFSPA. AFSPA, children. Okay, this act was passed, children, in the year 1958. What is ASF? Armed Forces Special Protection Act. What is this act? According to this act, army people can shoot anyone, can arrest anyone under the case of suspicion. If they doubt that the person is having certain, what do you call, not having good ideas, maybe is going to destroy, maybe going to disturb the locality by violence, so they can shoot anyone, they can arrest anyone. But this military, they misused this act. They started torturing the people, arresting the people unnecessarily, shooting the people, children, killing the people, and not only that, creating a lot of problems to the family of that person. So now it was like that the males, sons and the husbands, fathers are not secured in Manipur. Women were tortured, women were disrespect was shown to the women. So like that, many wrong things were done by these army people. Then women's of those area of Manipur, they were worried what will happen to their son and the husbands. Then they decided to start a movement against AFSPA Act. Okay, so the women and mothers, Okay, the woman and mothers called as Ima. Women and mothers called as children Ima in Manipur. So what they did, children, this woman and mothers Ima, they worried about their son, husband, and they worrying about the what he called about the women's also. Then what they did, these women, they started a movement. The movement, now this is important for examination point of view, called as Mera Pebai. Mera Pepe. This was a movement, children. This was started by the people of the women of Manipur. What is this movement, children? So, this is a movement, children, where we can find this was a movement that demanded to that in the year 1970, and this was a movement for human rights. Human rights. Human rights. Everyone were demanding for human rights, children, in Manipur. And what they did, children, under this one, they demanding that to remove army and to remove this act. Okay, under this one, what the women they did, children, the women of this area, they joined together, they formed like a groups. They formed like a groups, and they started patrolling each and every ward area of Manipur. Women, they sat together in a groups, patrolling. Patrolling nowadays, police people, they are doing a patrolling in the night time. So they're patrolling by on foot. They used to move children throughout their wards. Every ward, night time, whole women, they used to sat in a common area, watching the situations, carrying the bamboos. Okay, what is Mera Pepe? Mera Pepe is torch bearer. So what they did, children, to their bamboo, they tied a cloth. To that cloth, they pour the kerosene and they make a torch. Take a light torch and move in every area, showing that they are protecting the people, the women and the people of Manipur. This continued a lot. Okay, this continued a lot. The government announced for an elections, but these ladies of Manipur, what they did, because children, these were the women, what they did, they struggled and they boycotted the elections and they started, children, the hunger strike. At last what happened, many army officers, they were failed to control this movement. They demanded the government to develop the infrastructure of Manipur, other facilities of Manipur. So by the help of that, Manipur could develop. Then one of the Supreme Court judge also, by the name children, Jeevan Reddy. This person was also appointed to look after the condition. Still, it is tell that still the problem of Manipur is not solved, children. Still many reports are going on submitting, but we can say that yes, this tribal women of Manipur, they shook the India. They completely shake the India, children, Indian government, army also, just because of their movement. Okay, so this was a movement for human rights. What is Mera Pepe, children? Mera Pepe means torch bearers. Okay, torch bearers to help the people of Manipur. So children, this is a story, children, of Manipur. So in this today's women's movement, we discussed about two important stories. One is Adavalu Ekamaite and also about the women movement of Manipur, Mera Pepe. So I hope the lesson is clear to you. With this we completed this lesson, children. Now it is your work, children. Read the lesson. Try to understand the stories, the importance of this movement. So what are the rights today we are enjoying, children? It's nothing but the hard work, hardship of many people, sacrifice of many people, children, from the past. Today we are enjoying the fruits, but those days they suffered a lot to provide us this facility to us, this freedom to us. Okay, so with this, I complete my lesson, children. I complete my topic. So I hope lesson is clear to all of you. Go through the lesson, and if any doubt will be there, you can call me. Thank you. Thank you one and all. Thank you, children.